Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a close look at a real giant of the airline world, Singapore Airlines, or SIA.
That's right.
We've got our hands on a pretty fresh market research report. It's from Cognitive Market Research, dated January 20th, 2025.
Mm.
And our mission really is to unpack how SIA manages to keep that, top-tier premium image and why passengers keep coming back.
It's a great topic, and the report dives right in with a really strong point. SIA consistently lands in the top three most admired airlines globally. That's quite something.
Top three, wow.
But here's the kicker. I think their brand value jumped 15% in 2023. 15%.
That's a significant leap.
It really is. And the report makes it clear this wasn't just luck. It points directly to exceptional customer service and some really, really clever marketing. So yeah, they're doing more than just flying planes. They're actively building this powerful brand.
Okay, so how do they even start to figure out, what customers want and where the industry is heading? The report talks about their market research strategies. Sounds pretty thorough.
Oh, absolutely. They use a smart mix of qualitative and quantitative methods.
Right, the qual and quant.
Exactly. So think of quantitative like big customer surveys that's about getting the numbers, the what, broad trends, satisfaction scores, that sort of thing.
Good.
Then the qualitative, like focus groups, that's where they dig into the why. Smaller groups, deeper discussions, understanding the feelings behind the opinions.
Getting the nuances.
Precisely. And crucially these days, they're all over social media analysis, tapping into that constant stream of, unfiltered feedback. Seeing what people are actually saying in real time.
So it's not just forms and surveys, it's listening everywhere. And I saw Net Promoter Score, NPS, mentioned. We hear that term a lot. Why is that so important for SIA?
NPS. It's like a quick pulse check on brand loyalty. It really boils down to that one key question. How likely are you to recommend us?
Right, the recommend question.
Yeah. And that score gives SIA a really powerful snapshot. Our customers, basically promoters, passive, or, detractors who might jump ship. By tracking it constantly, they see if their efforts are working and where they need to maybe improve things.
Makes sense, like a loyalty barometer. But they're not just looking inwards, are they? The report mentioned competitor benchmarking, too. What does that actually mean for an airline?
Yeah, good point. You can't operate in a vacuum, right? Especially not in aviation. So benchmarking is essentially keeping a close eye on the rivals.
What are the other guys doing?
Exactly. What are their prices, their services, their seats, their marketing? By understanding what competitors do well, or maybe not so well, SIA can spot gaps, opportunities to offer something better or different, stay ahead.
Like if another airline gets praised for its Wi-Fi, SIA might think, okay, how can we top that?
Precisely. It's about finding that edge.
And it sounds like they're looking ahead, too, not just at today. Collaborating with experts on things like wellness travel and eco-friendly stuff.
Yes, and that's really insightful. They're not just reacting. They're trying to anticipate the next big thing in travel.
Being proactive.
Right. Partnering with specialists in areas like wellness or sustainability gives them early insight. So they can start weaving things like, say, healthier meals or sustainable fuel investments into their strategy before everyone else jumps on board. It cements them as innovators.
So all this research, the surveys, the focus groups, the trend spot, it's not just sitting in a report somewhere. It actually leads to changes.
Oh, definitely. The report really stresses this. These insights directly shape things, service improvements, marketing campaign themes, even big operational calls like which new planes to buy.
It's a feedback loop.
Exactly. Understand, act, measure, repeat. That's how they seem to reinforce that premium positioning.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly to the tech behind this.
Yep.
The report mentions AI, machine learning, big data analytics. Sounds very cutting edge. How are they actually using these tools?
Well, think about the sheer amount of data an airline like SIA handles every day. Bookings, flight info, customer profiles, feedback, social media. It's a mountain.
Right. Huge volumes.
So AI and machine learning are like incredibly powerful sifters. They can find patterns in all that noise that, frankly, humans just couldn't spot quickly enough.
Okay, like what kind of patterns?
For example, the report suggests they use AI, specifically natural language processing, to analyze maybe thousands of open-ended comments from surveys or social media.
Reading the text comments.
Yeah. The AI can automatically pick out recurring themes, maybe it's delays on a certain route, or praise for a specific crew member service, much faster and more consistently than someone reading manually.
Wow, okay. So instead of weeks reading feedback, AI flags the big issues or highlights almost instantly. That must save a ton of time.
It's a massive efficiency gain. And the report also mentions their own digital channels, the app, the website. These aren't just for booking.
They're data sources, too.
Absolutely. Every click, every search, every interaction a customer makes there provides clues about what they like, what they need. It's real-time data collection.
That makes a lot of sense. And predictive analytics, anticipating customer needs. That sounds almost futuristic. Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you fly SIA often and you always pick the vegetarian meal.
Okay.
Predictive analytics could flag this preference. So maybe next time you book, the system already knows and ensures your meal is sorted, maybe even without you explicitly asking again.
Proactive.
Or say you always watch sci-fi movies on their entertainment system. The system might suggest new sci-fi releases for your next trip. It's about using that past behavior to make the future experience smoother, more personalized.
Like the airline knows you.
Yeah.
Okay, so gathering all this data is one thing, but how does it actually, influence their brand strategies day to day? Customer feedback seems really key here.
It's absolutely central. The report highlights how seriously they take it. They gather it through various channels. You've got your post-flight surveys, still valuable for detailed feedback.
The classic email survey.
Right. But then there's social media monitoring, which is much more immediate, often, raw feedback, good and bad.
Unfiltered opinions.
Exactly. And of course, direct contact through customer service lets them handle specific problems and get detailed info from individuals.
And the report gave a couple of really concrete examples of this feedback leading to action. The first was about food, in-flight dining.
Yes, that was a great example. The feedback showed a growing desire among passengers for healthier options and also more customization. People have different diets, different preferences.
More choice.
Right. So SIA didn't just note it down. They actually changed things, introduced new meal plans with more variety, healthier stuff. It shows they're listening and acting.
And the other example was about premium passengers suggesting upgrades to the fancy suites. That shows they listen to the high spenders, too.
Definitely. Those passengers in suites or business class, they have sky-high expectations. So actively asking for their input and then actually investing in upgrades based on what they say, that really cements SIA's position at the top end. It tells those customers, we value your opinion, we want to keep improving even our best offerings.
So it's this constant cycle. Listen, learn, act, improve. Okay, beyond just reacting, what about proactive steps? What initiatives are they taking to really strengthen that premium brand image?
Well, the report points to some major strategic investments. A big one is the fleet. They're constantly investing in state-of-the-art aircraft.
Like the ones mentioned, the Airbus A350s and Boeing 787 Dreamliners.
Exactly. It's not just about having new planes. These specific models are known for better passenger comfort. They're more fuel efficient. They have the latest tech inside. It all adds to that premium feel.
And it's what's inside those planes too, right?
Yeah.
The report mentioned things like the really spacious suites and the upgraded business class cabins.
Oh, absolutely. These aren't just seats. They're like mini hotel rooms in the sky sometimes. The suites, especially, are famous for offering incredible privacy and luxury.
A statement piece almost.
It really is. These kinds of investments signal very clearly, we are a premium airline, and this is the standard you can expect. It justifies the brand and, frankly, the price.
And their marketing? Yeah, I think most people recognize the Singapore girl, but the report mentioned the lengths we go to campaign specifically.
Yeah.
What's the strategy behind that kind of messaging?
That campaign, yeah, it perfectly captures their core promise. Meticulous, really high-level customer service.
Attention to detail.
Exactly. It visually shows the dedication, the effort their staff put in. That resonates with travelers who value reliability, care, feeling like their needs are anticipated. It builds trust and reinforces why they're considered premium.
Interesting. And sustainability is popping up here too. Investing in sustainable aviation fuels, SAF and eco practices. That feels very current.
It's essential now. Being environmentally conscious isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. Customers increasingly expect it, demand it even.
Right. It matters to people.
So by investing in things like SAF, SIA isn't just doing the right thing environmentally, they're also aligning with custom values, which, again, strengthens the brand appeal, especially for certain segments, shows responsibility.
Okay, speaking of segments, global airline, loads of different travelers. How do they manage to tailor things effectively? A business flyer wants different things than a family on holiday.
And that's where smart customer segmentation comes in. They really seem to understand this. They know a business traveler's priorities are different from a leisure tourist's, and someone in a suite has totally different expectations than someone in economy.
So how do they cater to, say, business travelers specifically?
Yeah.
The report mentioned a few things.
Yeah, for business travelers, it's often about time, efficiency, staying connected. So SIA offers things like dedicated lounges, priority boarding, priority baggage, making the booking process super smooth. Perks designed to save time and hassle.
Minimize friction.
Okay. What about the leisure traveler, the holidaymaker?
For them, it's often more about the overall value and the experience. So SIA might offer more competitive fares on certain routes or put together attractive holiday packages, flights plus hotels, tours, that kind of thing, making the whole trip planning easier and maybe more cost-effective.
Right, bundling it up. And then the top tier, the premium passengers in those fancy cabins.
For them, it's purely about luxury, comfort, and that highly personalized service. So it's the best cabins, gourmet food, fine wines, and flight attendants who anticipate what you need almost before you do. It's about creating a truly indulgent experience.
And underpinning all this seems to be the KrisFlyer loyalty program. How crucial is that for segmentation?
Oh, hugely crucial. KrisFlyer isn't just about earning points. The different tiers, silver, gold, PPS Club, they offer distinct benefits.
So the more you fly, the better the perks. Exactly. It incentivizes people to fly more with SIA, obviously, but it also allows SIA to deliver different levels of recognition and service based on loyalty and spending. It reinforces value within each segment and really encourages people to stick with the airline.
Okay, it sounds like a really well thought out strategy, but no airline is immune to challenges. The report does touch on hurdles SIA faces, right?
Yep.
Even with such a strong brand.
Definitely. It's a tough industry. One major challenge mentioned is simply the rising cost of delivering all those premium services.
It costs money to be fancy.
It does. Top tier service, amazing cabins, modern planes, it all adds up. Plus, you've got fuel costs, labor costs. It's expensive.
And they've also got increasing competition, particularly from budget carriers, right? How does a premium airline deal with that pressure?
That's a constant tension. The rise of low-cost carriers puts pressure on fares across the board. SIA has to constantly prove why they're worth the extra money.
Demonstrate the value.
Exactly. They need to find that tricky balance. Stay profitable, but absolutely maintain the high service standards their brand is built on. You compromise on service, you damage the brand.
Yeah, that's a tightrope walk. Sustainability came up again as a challenge, too. Important,
Yeah.
but sounds complex and costly.
It really is. Moving towards things like sustainable aviation fuels involves massive investment and, frankly, operational headaches. The supply isn't always there, the cost is higher.
But they have to do it.
Increasingly, yes. Consumer awareness is growing, pressure is mounting. So demonstrating real commitment here is vital for brand image and future relevance, even if it's tough financially and operationally.
And the last challenge mentioned was keeping up with technology.
Yeah, the pace of change is relentless. SIA needs to constantly adapt, not just in market research like we discussed, but everywhere. Booking systems, customer relationship management, in-flight Wi-Fi, entertainment.
It never stops.
Pretty much. And the challenge is integrating all this new tech smoothly while making sure the brand experience stays consistent, whether you're interacting online, on the app, or face-to-face at the airport or on the plane. It all needs to feel like Singapore Airlines.
Okay, so faced with all that costs, competition, sustainability, tech changes, how does SIA actually keep customers loyal in the long run? What's the secret sauce there?
Well, according to the report, the absolute foundation is just consistently delivering on that brand promise. Excellence, every time.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. It's not about one amazing flight. It's about building that expectation of quality, reliability, and great service every single time someone flies with them. That builds trust like nothing else.
And the KrisFlyer program, I assume, keeps playing a role here. They don't just set it up and leave it.
No, definitely not. The report implies they regularly review and refresh KrisFlyer. They need to make sure passengers still feel genuinely rewarded and valued for sticking with them. Maybe that means new perks, better ways to earn or redeem miles. Keeping it relevant is crucial.
And innovation seems to be part of the loyalty mix, too. The report mentioned things like exploring augmented reality for seat selection or virtual reality for travel experiences. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it shows they're not standing still. By playing with and rolling out technologies like AR or VR, even in small ways initially. They keep things fresh and exciting.
Creates a bit of buzz.
Exactly. It shows they're forward thinking, looking for new ways to make the journey better, more engaging. Those kinds of wow moments can create really strong emotional bonds with the brand.
And finally, it sounds like there's a real focus on the personal touch, especially for frequent flyers.
Yes, nurturing those relationships seems key. Things like exclusive events, personalized emails or offers, maybe curated travel tips. It makes their most loyal customers feel recognized, special, almost like part of a club or family. That really cements loyalty.
Right. So if we pull it all together, it seems Singapore Airlines' success isn't down to one single thing. It's this really comprehensive, proactive approach. Constant research, smart use of tech, genuinely listening to feedback.
Making big strategic bets on their fleet and cabins, carefully targeting different types of travelers.
And this relentless focus on delivering excellence and building loyalty, all while navigating some pretty major industry headwinds.
That sums it up perfectly. It's a complex, multi-layered strategy, and all the pieces seem to work together to keep them at the top. It's why they remain one of the world's most admired airlines.
It really gives you pause thinking about what goes into building and sustaining a brand like that.
Okay.
Okay, so looking forward, personalized experiences are becoming even more critical, and that sustainability pressure isn't going away. How might SIA need to evolve its strategies? What could be the next big thing? Maybe new tech or deeper customer insights that helps them not just keep their leadership position, but maybe even push it further in the coming years?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Definitely something to think about. That's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us on this exploration.